Hello there. How are you? Right, let's get undone. I thought today we'd make some bread, but in a slow cooker. Slow bread. Right, get changed and I'll see you in the kitchen. So here we are in the kitchen and we're going to make a wholemeal loaf in a slow cooker. So the reason why we're going to do a wholemeal loaf, a brown loaf, is that it looks better when it comes out of the slow cooker. If you do a white loaf, then it can look a bit pale. Slow cooker is not an oven and it will not toast all the outside. So that's why we go for a brown loaf. It just looks a little bit better. So let's make a start. First up, actually going to make a few little adjustments to the slow cook or crock pot. Okay? If your slow cooker type crock pot has one of these glass lids on, you need to put a bit of tin foil on underneath, and that helps to reflect the heat back into the bowl, which will brown the bread just a little bit. Okay, so let's put this on. And the air vent hole, just make sure you stick the air vent hole through, because it's still got to breathe. And the other thing to make sure is that you put in a grease-proof liner in the stock pot itself. Now this is an old one, we used it before. You just got to get it and then stick that on there, put that back in. Now this bit is important. You need to set your crock pot to warm. Okay? Now we're not doing anything yet, but we need to warm it up. So let's go and do the flour mix whilst that's warming up. So, to make this wholemeal bread, we need a pinch of salt, and then reset the scales. We want 200 of strong white bread flour. Okay. Too much. There we go. Reset. And 200 of strong wholemeal bread flour. Okay, not enough in there. New packet. I don't want the open. new packet. And it. Now mix, just mix it round. Teaspoon of sugar. Teaspoon of sugar. 1 sachet of fast acting dry yeast. Okay. Now give that a mix again. Make a little well in the middle. Alright. Get 300 ml of tepid water, or just slightly warm water. You might not use all of it. All depends how this comes together. Okay? So don't pour it all in. And then also we'll need a tablespoon or a serving spoon of olive oil. So put in about half from your water. Bang in a tablespoon of olive oil, or serving spoon. And then mix. You can see I'm mixing with a spoon. I will change to my hands in a minute. But just to get things going, I always start with a spoon. Might go another well. Put in a little bit more, but not all of it. Keep mixing. Make sure you get round the edges, get all that dry flour off. And then just mix and watch how it all comes together. Now at this point you might have enough water in already, and you might think, oh, I don't need to add any more. Or if it's still a bit dry, you can add a bit more. That's coming together now. That's really important that you don't make this too wet, because it's going in a slow cooker. It needs to be it can't be over wet. Now this is still a little bit dry. Another little splash of water. Try to get a bit messy. And what's life without a bit of mess? Now you do need to knead this a little bit, and the reason being, well, the reason thinking behind it, is that it needs to be thoroughly mixed. You need to have really good consistency of your flour, of your dough. And so you do need to give it a little bit of a knead. So that there is about ready. It just needs kneading now. Okay. So let's get ready for kneading. So I've moved up to a higher worktop. Like I say, it needs just a little bit of kneading. So, fire your top. Right. When I say knead, it's just a gentle light kneading, just to make sure that everything's incorporated and well mixed. I'm not talking 10 minutes of heavy kneading, or I'm just talking a little bit, just to get bread dough mixed through and springy, and that's what you're after. So this is about ready. Now I've edited this a little bit just to keep these videos shorter, but you can see that it's slowly springing back, and the dough's got a nice smooth texture to it, and it's holding itself together. So that is now ready to go into the slow cooker, into your crock pot. Okay, so let's do that. So like I said, when you first started, you put your slow cooker on to warm. So this has been warming up whilst you've been making the dough. So the really important thing now is to switch it off, because you're going to prove the bread for an hour. And the importance of this is that you'll get a lighter bread. If I put this in now and cook it, you'll get a loaf out of it quite happily. So if you want a slightly lighter bread, then proving it for an hour will give you that lightness. So, like I say, switch it off, take your lid off, and feel it's nice and warm in there. Now, depending on the shape of your crock pot or your slow cooker, kind of just mimic the shape a bit. So this is quite long, so I want long. Don't fiddle around with it too much, and then put it in, and then press it down a little, but not too much. Put the lid on with your tin foil, and we'll leave it for an hour. So it's been an hour now, so we'll have a quick look, and you can see that the dough has risen quite nicely. Now you don't want it rise too much, because you don't want it touching the lid. So put the lid back on. Now switch it to high. Make sure it's on high. And then what you do is leave it for 2 hours. So we'll come back in 2 hours and our bread should be ready. It's been 2 hours. Let's take it out. Now you see there's a lot of condensation and there's still steam coming off the top. That's perfectly normal. Switch this off. Right. Open the lid off. check. Yeah, that's hollow. There you go. Now it's really important to let this dry, because it's still a bit squidgy on the top because of the condensation that comes from cooking in here. So we'll leave it. It doesn't look bad. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, it's not exactly an artisan loaf, is it? Well, no, it's not. It's just your ordinary bread cooked in a slow cooker. And I call it slow bread because it takes 3 hours to cook. But the point is that it's in a slow cooker, not in an oven. So it means that you can still make your own bread and it doesn't cost a fortune to do it. Right, let's come back a bit later when it's a little bit cooler and have a slice. Good morning! And just finishing off breakfast. Trying our bread that we made yesterday. So, really nice bread. I know it doesn't look much, but it's tasty, and that's the important thing. Give it a go. I'll call it a recipe in the description below, and like I say, give it a try. Experiment with this slow cooker. Timers will be slightly different, but you know, that's the part of cooking. Right. Gonna go off and fire up the Kneading kettle now. So I will see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves, and bye for now. Well, what do you think? Someone has to wash up.